free to get your beverage of choice. And we're going to get started in 2 minutes. Hope everyone is doing well. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving and that you are ready for the end of 2020 because you got 30 days for the end of 2020. So the other thing is that I'm going to make some announcements while we're getting on, having everybody join us on our various social platforms. Everybody put your city and state in the chat. Number one is don't forget that Dr. Claude Anderson is going to be our special guest next week. During our 6 o'clock session, Dr. Claude Anderson, that is open to the public. So if people are interested in hearing from Dr. Claude, I actually opened up my Powernomics book over the Thanksgiving holiday. I was feverishly highlighting all sorts of stuff that we wanted to chat with him about. And you all know that when we talk from a practical point of view. What is going to be happening over the next few years, and how can we as a community take the principles that Dr. Claude Anderson has put in his Powernomics book and actually apply them through the 10K project and through the community at large. So that's number one. Number two, we just had a great session with Dr. Cherie Phillips. She is our resident economist. She came to talk about the new Treasury Secretary that's expected, Janet Yellen, what that means for us. So we would definitely encourage people to take a listen to that. That is on YouTube and on Facebook. So you all are able to easily find it, and we'll send the replay out on Thursday, but you don't want to wait until Thursday to hear it. You want to hear it tonight or tomorrow. So definitely go to YouTube and check that out. Find another thing, opportunity zones. We talked last week about different legislation that has been out there, and I said I would reach out to all of us know a guy named Vinroy who is an opportunity zone specialist. He just emailed me. I just opened up my email before coming on here saying yes. He would love to come chat with us about what's happening with the opportunity zone. So he asked me what day and time. We're going to try to get him in December so that all of us can be ready for 2020 to go with him. So also, I have another friend who called me. I said this during the Dr. Cherie Phillips session. Another friend who called me, he watched the Roland Martin interview. He said, I disagreed with things that Roland said, and that we need to be in on the appropriations discussions. And he's talking to me, and I said, okay, well then you need to come and speak to everybody within the community. So appropriations is basically how the federal budget is put together. And he has some thoughts. First of all, he's a lobbyist on Capitol Hill. So he's a guy that actually goes and tries to get laws put together, written, changed, etc. He's been working on lobbying efforts ever since I've known him, which has been for about 5 years now. And he has some very strong opinions and thoughts about why we aren't at those tables and what we need to do to get there. So I'm going to try to get him on for December as well, maybe January, just because, you know, I want to make sure we have a packed schedule. But
I was going to say, is there room in December?
I don't know if there's room in December. If we can get in December, we will. I have to really take a step back and look at our calendar. If not, then we'll definitely have these individuals in for January to have these important economic conversations. So with that, I want to say hello to everybody here tonight. We have Indiana in the house. We've got the Bronx. We've got the Brooklyn, Bishopville, South Carolina, Miami, Alabama, DC, and Delaware, Charlotte, North Carolina, Georgia, everybody in Georgia, vote, vote, vote. Canton, Michigan, New York, another Michigan, Alabama, DC, California, Los Angeles, Virginia, Chicago, Atlanta, Boston. Want to say hello and welcome to everybody. Welcome to the 10K project. I'm going to take literally 4 minutes, explain what the 10K project is, because we have new people coming in and we're expecting a surge of new people coming over the next 2 to 3 months. I'm going to open up my screen here and just give a little quick presentation for everyone. You may be asking, what is a 10K project and how we can come together in order to help build Black wealth and help Black businesses. Well, all businesses need money to start and grow, yet our businesses are the least likely to get funded. And when our businesses are funded, we as a community usually cannot participate and do not participate in that business's growth. Well, what if there were a way for we the people to fund businesses and get a share in the profits? That's where the 10K project comes in. In 2012, there was a law called the Jobs Act that started something called equity crowdfunding. And now Black entrepreneurs have another option to get the money they so desperately need from everyday people like you and I. We're called the crowd. And this is called equity crowdfunding. I do want to say, no, this is not a susu, and no, this is not a fund, because we do get that often. Equity crowdfunding is regulated by the government. And what happens is entrepreneurs would work with an equity crowdfunding portal to raise money. Right now, they're able to raise up to $1,070,000. Starting in January, that amount goes up to $5 million, and entrepreneurs are able to raise that much money every single year. Investors review the business plan, they research the company, and if each individual investor says, you know what, I like that business, then they are able to put their own money into that business and receive partial ownership or shares in that company. If the company makes it big, the crowd shares in the profit. If not, investors only lose what they have put into the company. So the 10K project is found on the premise that when 10,000 everyday people put $100 each into a business, the community can raise $1 million for that business. We can fund the company, profit from our own innovation, create jobs, and help to build Black wealth. We have filed with the SEC and FINRA to start an equity crowdfunding portal. We have received a positive check mark from the SEC already. We had to go, the co-founders and I, we had to go get fingerprinted. We're doing background checks on us. We have our FINRA application in. Today I spoke with the woman, Camille, who is reviewing our FINRA application. We went over some things, there are things in the background. It's kind of like getting a mortgage in a way, is the way that I described it to my other co-founders, where you give them documents and then they want a few more documents and a few more documents. But we believe in the power of prayer here. And we have filed this FINRA application specifically to say that we are starting an equity crowdfunding portal for Black entrepreneurs. We have to say by law that we are not approved yet. We're still going through the process. We have hired legal counsel that has helped other portals get approved, but this is the ultimate ecosystem that we're building. We have entrepreneurs with great ideas, people who want to buy businesses, people who want to start businesses, teams that want to get together and grow businesses. We have investors. These are everyday regular people who have $100 or more that they would be willing to put into various businesses over the course of a year so that they can build a portfolio. And then we have service professionals. These are our CPAs, graphic designers, marketers, others who, once those companies are funded, they're able to come in and help those companies grow. So this is the ecosystem that we're building here at the 10K project. And if you believe in what we've talked about, you say, hey, I'm ready to become a member. We would love to have you. It's one-time, lifetime membership fee of $100. You'll get VIP notifications about our application process. We also have members-only wealth building webinars that we do on a weekly basis. Our Knowledge Center has already started. We're already populating it. And there's more information that is going to be placed in there this month or this coming month, December. And our business directory is also forthcoming December 2020. It's already been built. There are just a couple little things that the co-founders and the designer and I need to do in order to push the button and get that up for everybody. But again, it's the10kproject.com. You can click become a member. We would love to have you, if you believe in what we're doing and you say, you know what, I want to become a member, we would love to have you. If you have a couple of questions, you can send them to us during this broadcast and Talisha or Tawana will respond to you. You can also email us at info@the10kproject.com. We would love to, if you have follow-up questions, we will respond. We have to, of course, follow the law and just, also say that if we are approved, if and when we are approved, these are the things that we're going to be doing. So Tawana, did I forget anything in that? Perfect. All righty then. So do you all want to introduce yourselves just like 2 seconds before we bring on Lester to have our conversation of the night? Tawana, you want to just say hello?
First. Yeah, my name is Tawana Rivers. I'm the Chief Operating and Compliance Officer for the 10K Project, and welcome.
Talisha?
Hello, I'm Talisha Shine. I am the Chief Technology Officer here at the 10K and also welcome you here.
Eric? You're on mute.
You're on mute.
Thank goodness. Yes, hi, this is Eric Spence. I am the Chief Business Development Officer here at the 10K Project. So welcome everyone. Glad to have you here.
And Lester and I spoke, believe it or not, 6 weeks ago. Our schedule has been so packed that when I told him the date that he could come on, he's like 6 weeks from now, because we had such a great conversation. And he's a wealth of information with regards to practical things that he and his family are doing to secure their family finances. So Lester, welcome. What I'd love for you to do is kind of take 5 minutes, tell the community about yourself. You actually came up with this topic. Good credit, yeah, you did. Good credit is easy, changing habits is hard. So, I want you to talk about all of that and, give the family some things that you're doing, you and your family are doing in order to really, create a financial future for yourselves.
Okay, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Lester Brazzel. I reside in Indianapolis, Indiana. Getting to the credit or financial items, basically, credit is really easy. I have a couple of mottos. We kind of have a good saying in our house: it's not in the budget. So when we see something, and especially the young people, we train them to say it's not in the budget, so they actually know it's not in the budget. Budgeting is real big in our household. We basically live on one income. That's a big key thing in our household. Even though we have 2 incomes, we live on one income. And if it doesn't fit in that income, we pretty much don't buy it. We also, the title of everything is good credit is easy, changing your lifestyle to get good credit is hard. And it's really, really simple. I'm one of the people who have had an 850 credit score, real easy to get. Anyone can do that. Anyone can get in the 800s, high 790s, 780s. It's really, really easy. It's about your lifestyle. We do raise our grandchildren or grandchild, and he already understands about finances at the age of 5. So we start really, 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 really young. Even I think we started at 4. So he understands about money. And a lot of people don't understand about money. Money is is something you use, but most people don't understand how to use it. So just a little start, questions.
So Lester, how did you get started on this journey? I mean, do you have a background in finance? Is that your field of education, or how did this become a passion of yours?
Actually, my mother taught me everything. She taught me she taught me young, where I guess it started I think it was one Christmas. It was either you get something before Christmas, like one thing before Christmas, or you double everything up after Christmas. So instead of getting like 10 toys, we get 20 toys after Christmas. So it was real easy for me to say, I want 20 toys, I don't want 10. So that's
Your mama was shopping those sales, you know it.
yeah, sales. I mean, she taught me how to buy things and things of that nature. So, you know, I never pay full price for anything if I don't have to, because it's always going to come on sale, or it's going to be a discount or something. You know, prime example, you buy a $1,500 like washer for $200, $300
That's a good sale.
at Lowe's. You just got to know how to shop. So why my appear that I paid $3,000 for a set, I only paid $500 or $600. So it's just how, you know, little tips and things how to shop. Everybody can do it. You just have to have be disciplined. That's all. You know,
So you can't drop those breadcrumbs and then not tell us. How do we shop? How do you do it?
How do you shop?
Yeah.
Sales.
But I mean, do you, so let's take the washer, for example, washer dryer. You need a washer dryer, right? Do you like wait until, like, practically, do you say, okay, we need a new washer dryer, we know we're going to need one in the next year, and you know, you wait, you go to your favorite store once a week and you wait until you see it at that price? Or do you go to different stores? Like, you know, what's your process?
Here's a tip. Lowe's. I used to be a vendor in Lowe's for a major company, so I knew how Lowe's operated as a corporate. I was like a vendor coordinator for a region. So Lowe's, you can buy sometimes in a box, literally, or open box, or say it's a floor model. But a lot of times they'll close out a product, especially around January when appliances, they come in, you know, the CES show. So they're getting rid of all the old appliances and bringing in new appliances. So that is probably the best time to buy an appliance. Lowe's, they'll mark down something, and they'll mark them down good. I mean, really, really, really good, because most managers, their bonuses are based on their sales and inventory and things of that nature. So if they want to get things out, they'll mark it down. And just because it says $300, $500, that don't mean that you have to pay $500. You can negotiate at Lowe's.
At Lowe's?
You can walk in a Lowe's and negotiate the price?
Yes.
Ooh.
Okay. Now that's a gem.
See, me, and plus me being a veteran, I get additional 10% off of everything. So I don't never let anybody know I'm a veteran until I negotiated my price as low as I can. And then I'll get 10% off on top of that. So, I mean, I've gotten a lot of appliances from Lowe's, and I probably paid less than 25%.
Wow.
Sometimes less than that. Sometimes I pay probably like about 15% of the actual listed price. So you just gotta.
That's interesting. So
Wait a minute.
go ahead.
I'm sorry, Lester. You said you paid 15% of the actual listing price, not 15%.
I wish I had I wish I had a flyer, like off of. I used to keep them when I would get a good sale, and then I would show people. I was like, this is listed at Lowe's for $1,000. I paid $200 for it.
Okay.
And Ali is saying like PCs and laptops too.
No, not at Lowe's.
Yeah, not at Lowe's. She's saying Lowe's too. No, I was told it is Bob also, which is great. Was that a buyout?
That's
I'm not sure what a Bob is, Ollie. Tell me what a Bob is.
where we at.
But I mean, there are times when you're able to negotiate electronics as well. So
You can
yeah.
negotiate anything. I started
Mhm.
out in sales, selling appliances, like a company called ABC Warehouse back in the 80s. And you can negotiate anything that has a price on it. Typically, in most retail environments, especially when it comes to hard lines like appliances and things of that nature, you don't have to settle for the listed price. It's always a negotiation you can ask. The only thing they can say is no.
Mhm.
You know,
And then you can always go back and talk to the next person that's there
yeah,
too.
you can,
Never
you
know.
know, me, like I said, I remember I went in, I said, I'm going to buy X amount of appliances. And I said, what is the best deal you can get me? You know, I said, I got the first deal and then I added on another item. And I wanted to know what the best deal they can give me. So I got the store manager involved because they don't want these items in the store. They want them out. I've been on their conference calls, so they want these things out of the store, especially if it's not moving. So you can deal with them and get it at a good price. I mean, literally. So,
Cool.
I mean, you can
Well,
get it anything.
can I ask a question that might seem odd, but I have a reason for asking it.
Go ahead.
Does sex have something to do with it? When I mean male, female.
Oh,
So
male, female.
yeah,
No,
the
I
only
don't
reason
think
I'm
it does.
asking that is because so my father was the great negotiator too, right?
Mhm.
And his wife has 4 sisters, and one of the
Uh-huh.
sisters went into the car lot with my dad, who was a great negotiator, and no deal. And the car salesman called her back and said, "Come, we'll do something, but don't bring that guy." And this was like 2015. This was not
Uh-huh.
1972, right? So how much does gender, I guess not sex, gender, how much does gender play a role in this? And I'm just asking out of
I don't
curiosity.
think it plays any role,
You don't?
especially in a
Okay.
retailer. It might
Okay.
be, you know, I don't think it plays any role. It's just if you're confident and you're a good negotiator, you're just that. You just
Yeah.
have it. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think that has any play in it. I mean,
Okay.
if you're confident about yourself, you're just confident. You
Yeah.
know,
I've
you
always
can go in
heard
there
you
and
have
get
to
a
be
deal.
willing. I've always heard you have to be willing to walk away.
Yeah, you know, I'll come back like I'm in a Lowe's store. My previous job, it took me over 14 states. So I was always in a store. Like when I was getting ready to come home, I would stop in the Lowe's and see what maybe we might be able to get a good deal in.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I walk in 5 minutes and walk around the clearance section, they would call it. And I'll go to all the departments because every department has a clearance section. And, you know, I got all kinds of things for our home, you know, from lights to appliances to wood items and all kinds of things.
Yeah.
But just go and look and see what it is and see if they can get a better price. And there you
Okay.
go. Real easy.
All right.
Um,
So we
that's
have a lot of
easy.
questions here about the 790 credit score, the 850 credit score.
Oh,
What are some of the things that you do in order to, I guess let's start with keep your credit score the way that it is, and then if you have any suggestions for people that want to get their credit scores
okay.
that high.
Well, I'll put it like this. I knew a lot about good credit and all this stuff. My mother taught me, but like most people don't do, they don't listen. So when I was in my early 20s, I didn't listen. I did everything the opposite of what my mother taught me, you know, as I got older. So just like my credit tanked. I don't know what it was, but it tanked because I remember one of the things that hurt my credit, it was a JCPenney credit card and it was a 10-cent charge on it. That was the interest. I didn't pay it off fast enough. So it was a 10-cent charge on there and I just let it go. So it actually hurt my credit score 10 cents that was on my credit, it was on my bill, that I never paid off for like 6 months. And then I went in there and it had multiplied and things like that. But the biggest thing, you have to pay your bills on time, all the time, every time, period. Pay your bills first. If you don't pay your bills first, that's the biggest thing that's going to get you behind, because that's a very large part of the credit score. What you can always do, especially with revolving credit cards, you put it on automatic payment. You'll never be late. That's the first thing you can do. Most credit cards will allow you to do that. So you never pay interest. I don't pay interest. I use my credit card as a 30-day loan. That's it. Or 28 days or whatever it may be. That's what I use my personal credit card, as a 30-day loan. And you can't, if you think it as a loan, that's what it is, 30 days. You buy something, and if I can't pay it off in 30 days or less, then I don't get it. So that's one thing.
That's a good lesson for people getting their first credit card, to look at it that way. That's actually very good information, not just for someone who's established in credit, but someone who isn't yet, to think about it that way, instead of paying that minimum payment that doesn't help you do anything.
No, you don't pay the minimum payment. That's a setup.
That is a setup.
That's the setup, and that's the trick that they get you, and they'll give you a high credit limit, and you're like, oh, I can do all this stuff and I can buy all these things, but you're not going to pay off that credit card. I think my usage is less than 1%. It's actually less, it's 1% because that's the lowest they can give me, but it's actually less than 1% because I pay off my credit cards every month. Every month, I might pay them off twice. I might pay a minimum just because I'm in the habit of doing it. But most of the time I'll pay it off once it posts. Once it posts, within a couple of days, I'll go online and just pay it off. I check my credit. I check my credit cards once a week. It's just a habit. You do it enough. You do it enough. Also, for security purpose, every credit card, you should get an alert on it, just to make sure nobody's using it. That actually helped me twice, because someone at a restaurant who was a waitress, she took my credit card number and tried to use it to buy a laptop.
Wow.
It initially was a Avon purchase. I think it was like less than $5 to see if it would go through. And I got an alert. Actually, I got the alert before the fraud prevention contacted me, because I'm looking like, no, I didn't buy any Avon. And I know every card is used for a purpose. Every card is not used for everything. In my household, we use cards for certain things. There's a credit card that might be used for every day, and there might be credit cards used for travel. But we also keep those cards active by putting utilities on them, or some kind of bill. We'll keep it active by paying a bill, like a water bill. We'll make a monthly water bill payment on a credit card. So we'll keep it active every month, or like the gas or water or whatever it may be, cable. We'll put it on the credit card, so it'll pay monthly. So it'll always be active and not non-active, which can kind of hurt you as well.
Yeah.
And then we just pay it off, or it'll get paid off by the bank. Our bank, it'll be linked to the bank and it'll automatically pay it off. Those are things you have to have a good credit mix. Credit cards, loans, not excessive, but moderate. Not a lot of inquiries. You don't want to have a lot of inquiries on your credit cards or your credit profile, because that can ding you. It'll drop off after a period of time. You don't want to have a whole bunch of them. And I know a lot of people, they're trying to get a lot of credit cards, so they'll have a lot of these inquiries and a lot of these on your credit, and so it'll just mess it up. It'll get lower and lower and lower eventually. I maintain, I think it was 2019 and 2018, I maintain I think it was 9 months of perfect credit score. It was an 850 credit score. So once I got my first 850, it was not a big deal anymore.
Mhm.
and it didn't really make a difference. But I've not been under the 800 range in over a decade.
Cool. So there's a lot of people talking in here about credit score. So
Uh-huh.
Tawana's saying, I totally agree with the 30-day loan. That's why my credit score is mid 800s. I also agree with paying utility bills on credit, I guess credit cards,
Right.
credit scores. Terrell is saying, I paid off all my debt and my credit score went up to 830. Congratulations. People are saying
Anybody can
cash
get
is king.
Anybody can get an 800 credit score. I mean, it's not that hard. It really is not. I mean,
I think it just takes discipline.
it just takes discipline. Trust me, I had a horrible credit score. It was way low. I think it was in the 500s or something like that. I just messed myself up more or less.
Mhm.
And I think it was a book I read, and I was able to get back after a few things dropped off. I was able to be disciplined and just continue to pay, buy, you want the credit cards want you to use it, but they don't want you to not pay your bill off in 30 days, because then they won't make that double and multiple money they'll make now from the processing side, then your interest side. And once you get a certain amount, you're hooked. You'll never pay that debt off. It's almost impossible for most people to do it, because what you'll end up doing, you'll ask for more credit, and you're stuck now. Now you got to work to pay your credit card bills off. I don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, companies definitely don't want to make it easy for you. I had a situation actually happen to me last week where I paid my credit card bill, but I had extra money and I was like, oh, I want to pay more. And it wouldn't let me make the payment online. Like it kept giving me the message that said, you've already paid. I'm like, I know, but I want to pay a second one. I had to literally call them. The first representative was like, you can't pay twice. I'm like, okay, are you crazy? Like I should be able to pay as many times as I want. And she was like, I don't know how to help you. Had to get her supervisor, who of course was then like, yes, we can take another payment. But I couldn't do it online. I had to do the second payment, just give them, my routing number and stuff. I couldn't go online and pay again. So they don't want to make it easy for you.
Did you do it within a 24-hour period or a 48-hour period?
It was about 3 days apart.
Oh, okay. Because sometimes they won't allow you to do it. I just wait. I'll just do it once a week. If it's a large item, I'll just do it once a week. It won't make a difference. Even though I'll get a pop-up and say you don't have to pay it because this, and this. I'm not letting them take any money from me. I don't care if it's a penny.
Yeah. I know for myself, I pay my mortgage and I pay like a little bit extra on top of my mortgage just to chop down the principal. And I forgot to add in my little extra, and I went back and they were like, you cannot just like pay a little bit of principal. And to me, it's just one of those things where you have to know the rules. So after that month, I was very vigilant. I made sure that the principal part was filled in first before the mortgage payment was filled in. So look, I think a part of it is you just got to know the game here.
It is a game.
We do
That's what it is.
It's a huge
It's a game, and you have to,
yeah.
like I was saying earlier, you have to understand money. Everybody understand money. You buy and all of this stuff, and you pay for it, but most people don't understand how to use money. And it takes time. If you're lucky, somebody can teach you. There's a lot of resources now, on the internet. Before I had to read books, but the internet it's a lot of good information. Some of it is not good, but there's some good information out there. A lot of the government websites, they'll tell you a lot about things to do. One thing I don't like, credit repair people. Credit repair people, eventually it's going to get regulated. I've seen it go crazy over the last 5 years where people are getting into the credit repair. Okay, there are multi-level marketing credit repair companies out there. Now, I have bad credit and I'm going to this company to get my credit fixed. They're telling me that I can fix other people's credit and get paid to do that, even though I don't know anything about credit.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, and unfortunately, there's a couple of companies out there, and I know the history of one of them based in Detroit. They're just a multi-level marketing company that kind of gets on every trend as it goes. But I think that's probably one of the worst things I've seen in the last 20 years. And it's been happening over the last, I'll say 3 or 4 years, but it's actually dying down now. But I think eventually it's going to get regulated to credit
It
repair,
is.
because right now you don't have, there's no regulation. You can get out of jail, the prison from yesterday, and today you can start a credit repair company and you could be convicted of identity theft.
Mm.
Most states, there's no regulation. You can start up a credit repair company with no experience whatsoever, zero.
Yeah. So I will say, if you if you're going to get credit repair, definitely go to a credit repair person or get any kind of credit consulting. Get a referral. I can personally, I'll put my name on it, personally refer Tamara Tolbert Bush. She is a part of the 10K family. And I've gone to her. We set up a strategy for me, a couple of years ago. And she said, write these letters, do this, do this. And I basically took it and did it myself. I didn't necessarily need anyone to do it for me, which is what a lot of them will say they'll do. And I wasted money with someone else who said they were going to send these letters on my behalf.
Yeah.
And they sent the first one and didn't send any follow-ups. So, and I'm the type of person that has a task list. So 30 days later, it's dinging on my task list that, hey, you should be sending out the second letter, and it wasn't sent. So I think that's where a lot of the issues come through. But I will say, if people want to talk to somebody, I definitely, would recommend Tamara.
One thing,
I do think going to a professional is helpful, only because the internet is so conflicting. I mean, even in the strategy of how you pay down debt, do you pay the higher interest, or do you pay the lower balance? I mean, like, everything's conflicting. You can find a counter to every solution or every option on the internet. And at least with a professional, I don't know if it's credit repair or financial planner, but someone who really knows the business of credit and debt repair to help you, at least guide you, so you don't waste a lot of time with all the things that are on the internet.
here's the issue I always have with that. How do you know they're professional? There's no organizations that are, you have to have a licensing body. There's no licensing bodies. Okay. I always tell people to ask them a question like, let me see your credit score.
That's a good question.
If they have less than a 750 credit score, go to somebody else.
Yeah.
Because they should be able to, there's nothing that you can have to show as a credit repair professional. There's organizations out here, they're like paper mills. You join and you get a certificate that says you do credit repair, but that doesn't mean anything. It's not like you're an accountant where you have to take a test, or a CPA. There's no testing out here, nothing federally or state. Like I said, you can get out of jail yesterday and start a credit repair today. Period. And you could have had identity theft while you were in prison, and you can come out here and get people information, and most people will hand it over to you with no problem. Okay. One other thing that most people don't understand, that you don't pay money up front for credit repair. That's illegal. Period. It's a law. It's a government law. A credit repair company cannot ask you to pay up front. Period. They can't do that. It's against the law. They can't ask you to pay a monthly fee until they do the work. They can't ask you upfront payments, and that's what a lot of them will tell you. We need X amount of money up front. That's against the law. It's a federal law. It's a federal law. So most people don't understand that, but it's right there on the government website. Most people, like consumer protection agencies, will tell you that. I used to work for the Better Business Bureau years ago, back in the 80s. So I know a little bit more than most people might know, but I learned this all on my own primarily. But the credit repair companies, and like I said, they're not regulated, not one. You will find some good ones out there. But everything that a credit repair company can do, 99.9% of the time, you can do yourself. Most of it involves writing letters. All the other information you can find on all kind of other resources. There's a lot of government resources that'll give you that information as well. State resources will give you that information. Private nonprofit agencies will give you that information. That's another thing. Most people don't understand that there are nonprofit agencies in most major cities that will help you with your credit repair. You don't really have to pay a dime unless you want to. And this is about the information. And like I said, most people don't know that there are nonprofit agencies out there that would help you financially and get your finances together free. So you really don't have to pay any kind of credit repair. You really don't.
That's good information. That's
Yeah,
good.
that
That's
is.
Yeah,
So
because
we
a
have,
lot of people don't know that.
Go
But
ahead.
yeah, sorry.
No, go ahead, Eric.
No, I was gonna say
Make
like a
some
lot of people
comments.
don't, because like they'll sit there and they'll see those commercials come, rolling on through about people talking about credit repair and that sort of thing. And then, there are these, like you said, quote unquote, credit repair specialists that are out there and they're marketing themselves and that sort of thing. But so that's very good to know. Yeah, it's not regulated, and you can do most of that work yourself and be probably more effective. I'm guessing.
Here's another thing. I think since the COVID-19, most of the bureaus, they'll give you a free credit report every month now. Used to be you want to get one free one a year, but now they were allowing people to get a credit report literally unlimited until the end of the year, I believe, unless it's changed. I haven't done any update, but the last time I checked, you could literally get your credit report from the 3 bureaus free. So, and that's what I always recommend everybody to use that service free. It's free. You get your credit report, check it. It does not affect your credit score. I used to do my quarterly, take one from this bureau, TransUnion, Equifax, Expedia. Did I say Expedia? Well, and just keep it, keep a good eye on my credit.
Yeah, so the questions are, there's a lot of questions. I'm just going to pull a few here. Virginia's asking for any recommendations for which card to apply for if you don't have a credit card. My credit score is 728 and my goal is 850.
With 720, you can typically get every credit card. You should pull your credit report and see what's on it. Every company is different. Some of them are, I think Chase might be a little bit more stringent. They'll look a little bit more thoroughly. Capital One is very easy, all around the board. Discover, Wells Fargo, and on and on and on. You got credit unions you can get, your credit cards. That's one thing I always encourage people to utilize credit unions versus a commercial bank. Commercial banks, they'll nickel and dime you for everything. And if you don't have a lot of money, the best source financial institution to put it in is a credit union, not a bank. Not a bank. And for small business, credit union. Now you can also have a commercial bank, but if you probably have less than $5,000, put it in a credit union, because first of all, that $5,000 in a traditional bank, commercial bank, or a for-profit bank versus the nonprofit bank, you can put $5,000 in, and at the end of the year, your interest that you made off that $5,000 might be 10 cents. That credit union, you might get $1, $2. So either way, I'd rather have the $2 versus 10 cents. Plus the fees are not crazy. They don't nickel and dime you. They're nonprofit, so they're here to help you, and they're here to save you money, not take all the money from you. So I always encourage credit unions everywhere, and they do have ATM machines all over the place. But if you're doing right, you don't need to use an ATM machine. That's how you get in trouble. I haven't used a debit card in ever. I never use a debit card.
So you use cash or how do you?
Credit.
Oh, you just use your credit and then pay every 30. Well,
Right. I
when
rarely
they post
keep cash on
Okay,
me.
got it.
I rarely keep cash on me. So
Yeah, because
I have no
Celicia's
need.
daughter would like jump if she had to carry cash. So I personally like cash for if I'm really trying to, hone in on my spending. Because I look in the envelope and if the cash isn't in there, so that works for me, but I understand everyone
Right.
is different.
It works. Cash
So
is cool. Cash is king.
I will also say for anybody, one of the people that taught me actually is coming to 10K in December to talk with us. And one of the first things she says is, what's your plan? So I'm going back to Virginia's question of what credit card should I apply for? What's your plan? What's your strategy? What are you trying to achieve? And her whole thing is think about it from your wealth building philosophy and what you're trying to achieve. And then with a 728 credit score, like Lester's saying, you can get any credit card, but you want to have some strategy behind it as well. I do have a comment for Chris asking about my FICO, $39 a month. Is that a good idea? So Tawana put in there that $39 was a lot. Personally, I paid $29 a month and I actually still pay it. I did it because I wanted to see the progress. And it was a 2-year process for me to go from my meager credit score to a great, I have a good credit score. I won't say great, but it's in the good range now. So I did it as a way, just like you buy a scale, in order to be able to get on, once a month in order to see, hey, are things working or not? Again, I do think it's a part of your overall strategy, whether you spend, not only with them, with anybody, like whatever your strategy is.
I think that's high. And
it is high.
$39. I mean, maybe you only track it every 3 months at that rate. I mean, I have something, I guess Discover card is where I get mine. And it's just part of having the card. So I see mine every month. But if I had to pay for that score every month, I don't know that I would do that, because if you're practicing, right, or practicing the good habits, do you necessarily need to see it monthly at a $39 rate?
Right. You're absolutely right. Most major credit cards, they'll give you TransUnion, Equifax, they'll give you all 3 of the credit bureaus. You just got to get those particular cards. If you get 3 different cards that has the 3 credit bureaus, you'll get all that free.
And that goes back to strategy. So
right, you don't have to pay a dime to see your credit score now, or to see your credit report, which is all those things are your credit profile. One thing most people have to understand, FICO 8 is not the same when you get your auto loan, your mortgage, and things of that nature. There's a whole bunch of FICO scores out there, and each one depends on what that financial institution is going to pull. So you might have a FICO score of, say, 750, and they're pulling something else, so that 750 does not apply to the FICO score that's for your mortgage or your auto loan. So that's just like an overall.
Well, that's again going back to all of these, like Credit Karma. It's not the same what you're measuring.
Oh, Credit Karma is it's
accurate, so it's not.
It's actually an educational score. If you read the fine print, it is not a FICO score. That is an educational score.
And nor is your Discover card. And that's what I'm saying. These credit cards are not always giving you a FICO score. So that's, again, why you're paying for
my Discover card. It actually says your FICO score.
Right. Again, it's a different, that's why you have to know which exactly it is. Is it an 8? Is it a 2? What FICO score is it giving you? Because it's giving you their FICO score. Instead, again,
most of them are going to give you a standard 8. But
yeah, at this point now, that's what I'm saying. They're getting smart to the point of they're giving you bits of information and they're giving you that snapshot between that month that you're paying,
right.
whatever your bill balance is. But that again is not applicable to the true FICO score if you were going to get a mortgage or a car loan. So that becomes the issue. So this is where your strategy comes in. What are you looking at? You need to know what you're looking at and for what purpose you're looking at it. If you're looking to get another car, that may be helpful. If you're looking to buy an automobile, that may not be helpful because you're going to get a different number.
Well,
And for me, I was looking for a mortgage. So I had planned to buy my house 2 years before we
That's
bought
exactly
it.
why you needed
So,
to pay for your FICO.
Yeah, so I
score.
paid the $29 because I was like, this is my strategy. This is really what I'm trying to achieve. And I just called it an investment.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
That's
that makes sense.
right.
And I'm not looking to buy anything. I have all those things
Yes,
already.
you have everything you need.
So that
So
free
yeah,
score is just fine by me.
go ahead, Lester. And then we
Yeah.
have more comments that I want to get to as well.
Yeah, paying a fee, it's no big deal. I don't see any problem with it because you're going to learn something. And a lot of times, especially with FICO, my FICO, they'll give you a lot of educational things in that nature, things
Yeah.
that can help you along the way, that that's going to be more accurate versus the internet in general. So it could be helpful for you. So, you're $39, $40 a month. So you're only looking at $480 a year. So that could be a good investment for you versus looking at some internet stuff that might throw you and make you go all kinds of crazy things. I've seen a lot of stuff because I've been helping people with their own credit scores for about 20 years. And I've seen a whole bunch of crazy stuff online it's just totally crazy. One thing people have to be aware of is department store cards. You don't need department stores. Stay away from those.
The worst, yes.
Get one or two, that's it. Because your major credit card, your Visa, MasterCard, etc., Discover, Amex, you can use those anywhere. You can have a ton of these department store cards, and you can use it one place. And there's primarily two major companies that issue credit cards for department stores. So if you mess up with one, you might get all those cards closed. And they do things like that all the time. They'll do a snapshot of your credit report or credit profile. And if you messed up somewhere, you might get a whole bunch of cards closed all at the same time over a period of maybe a 45-day period, and your credit score is going to tank. So I stay away from department store credit cards. They're not needed. I mean, first of all, they're going to have a low credit range, $500, $250, $1,000, $750, or something like that. Now, if you got $250 credit limit, and you use up to $200, which is possible every time you shop, your utilization is going to be really, really high. And that's going to affect you across the board, especially if you keep it high. Your utilization is going to really, really mess you up. And that's a big thing. So your credit utilization, depending on, so you got $1,000 credit total, you using $800, that's 80% you're using. You don't want to do that. You want to keep it way, 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 way low. Definitely around 20%. Personally, they say 30%, the experts, but I say 20%, give you a little cushion. Like I said, if you can't pay for it in 30 days, you probably don't really need it.
So how do you know, Lester, how do you know when it's not going to hurt you to close the cards?
You don't
like
close
as people pay them off, right? You leave them open forever, even though there's no.
When you get a card, your decision should be, you should be thinking, I'm going to keep this card forever. Period.
But earlier you said it shouldn't be inactive. So if someone let's say somebody has 10 credit cards and maybe 7 of them are paid off and they're not using them. And I've always heard it's bad to close them, but you're sitting around with 7 cards that you're virtually never using.
Okay.
Does it hurt you on a short term to close them and then you've got to build back the credit score? Or
well, of course, it's going to be short, right? Short term, it's going to hurt you. But like I said, when you get a credit card, your view of that credit card is the card you're going to be using forever.
But it wasn't. So you're right, because when you know better, you do better, right? So when you get these cards, you don't know better. You just get them. You acquire
Right.
them, right? Because you think that's the way to get what you need, is to acquire more credit.
Right.
But now that you know better, that you don't need 10, right? You just need one good one, really. What's the strategy? How does someone get from under that, even if they're paid for,
Well,
without
it depends on
necessarily-
what type of card you have. I mean, if it's a credit card that's a predatory type of credit card, you want to get rid of.
What if it's a like you said, a retail store card or a MasterCard or Visa from a reputable company, not predatory in any way, decent interest rate?
Okay, I mean, personally, I'll keep it. Why get rid of it now?
So you keep it and you put that utility on it on auto
Well,
pay.
if it's a store card,
Well, we
you know,
could do
you
that
keep
with
it.
the store. Yeah.
You keep it. I mean, you'll buy 1 or 2 things a year, you know, to keep it active. You know, once every 6 months, 4 months or something. Go buy $5 worth of stuff, $10 worth of stuff. I'm sure you're gonna shop in the store at least once or twice a year. Just keep it active. I mean, that's all they want you to do at the end of the day. They want you to keep it active because, you know, your credit card, a store card is not going to be high typically. You know, you go in there, buy something real quick and then pay it off when it posts and leave it. I don't keep credit cards on me.
Mm-hmm.
I keep 1 credit card or maybe 2. My business credit card and my personal credit card. That's pretty much. But if you have a credit card, say it's a predatory type of credit card, when you didn't know, and you're paying some kind of fee, because you shouldn't be paying any fees unless it's a high-end credit card, like a Sapphire or something like that, or an Amex Gold or something, or Platinum. Those are different types of credit cards. Those are different tiers of credit cards versus the standard credit cards, the everyday credit cards. You shouldn't be paying any kind of fee for a credit card. If you're paying a fee for a credit card that's not a high end, then you shouldn't be using it because it's probably not a great credit card. And a lot of times the new person will get these credit cards. They'll say, well, they're going to help you rebuild your credit and things of that nature. But that's the worst kind of credit card you can get. You're better off getting a what do you call it? Secure credit card. You're better off getting a secure credit card. You put $500, $250, and then you start building up that credit. Eventually, a lot of the credit card companies, I know Discover has it, Capital One has it. They'll allow you to roll it into a standard credit card, a standard revolving credit card. So, like you said, a strategy. You know, you got to have a game plan where you are today and where you want to be.
Yeah.
And you got to write it down. You can't keep it in your head because, you know, you're going to forget.
That's right.
You know.
So we have one more question, and then we are going to call it a night because we do have an 8 o'clock for all of our members here as well. So Bernice is saying in the Q&A, my ER illness, surgery, heart attack caused a lack of income. Lenders would not renegotiate a lower payment. It was all or nothing. So bad credit and bankruptcy, starting over. Once it's on your credit report, do you pay it or not?
It really depends. You got, she said, a lot of medical.
Yeah, medical. So so she had lack of income and medical expenses, and lenders were not willing to renegotiate or to negotiate lower payments for her. So right now she's in bad credit. She's trying to, I don't know, she's trying to figure out bankruptcy. This may be an attorney.
Yeah, I was going to say,
need to talk to a bankruptcy
you might want to talk
attorney
to an attorney.
Yes,
because
yes.
the biggest problem most people have in debt is medical.
Mm-hmm.
You know, medical is causing most people to have financial difficulty. And, you know, a lot of times there's no way out. You know, there's, you know, no way out but maybe to file bankruptcy, which should be your last choice, but you should get someone that you should talk to and look over your finances. And like you said, it's always about a strategy, a game plan where you want to be, because that's not the end of the road. That's not the end of life. as far as credit, you can start over. And credit is always a long distance race. It's not a sprint. You know, you can mess up today, and in 5 years you could be great, or 4 years you can be great. So it's not the end. You just got to change your lifestyle. That's most of the time ending. Everything is about your lifestyle at the end of the day, except for medical. It's all about lifestyle. You know, you got to understand how to use a credit card. That's pretty much it, or credit in general and finances in general. Everything is intertwined together, you know. You got to know what kind of financial institution to use versus a traditional one that we all know about. Most people don't know about credit unions. If you don't have a lot, use a credit union. If you have excess, then you can do whatever you want to do. You got to get the right kind of credit cards. You don't need a whole bunch of credit cards. You don't need 20 credit cards. You can get by with a Visa, MasterCard. Those are major. Discover if you want it. Amex if you want it. They still have Carte Blanche, I believe. But all you need is a Visa and a MasterCard, and maybe 1 or 2 department store cards, and you should be fine.
Yeah. So we want to thank Lester for being here this evening with us. Lester is going to come back. He is part of an industry that I didn't even know about, and I know about a lot of industries. He actually is part of the pallet industry, where there's like geo tracking on the pallets. And when he was telling me about it, it was so fascinating. I was like, oh my goodness, you have to come and talk about this as well. So for all of our members, we're going to have that conversation probably in January, February with Lester, to talk about his knowledge of that, because when we start talking about leakage, like these are the types of things we should be looking at and considering. A multi-billion-dollar industry, and we are not owners in it. We're missing
there's a
out on industry. I'm sorry.
There may be a blockchain solution for Lester also.
Here's something I'll give everybody, since this is the holiday and everybody's buying things and things of nature. It's something in logistics. It's called reverse logistics. I don't know if anybody knows about it. That's everything that you return back to the store. Say you bought it on some e-commerce site, and you kind of made a mistake. You really don't like it, and you send it back. That's reverse logistics. A very, very big industry. Part of the industry is worth about, the returns I believe is about $700 billion. That is a part of the industry that a lot of people don't know. And then it goes to another part, which everybody can get in on, is buying those reverse items by the pallet. Amazon has it, Target has it, Lowe's has it, Home Depot, all you, Bath and Beyond, I believe, Bath and whatever.
And Bath and Beyond, yeah.
Okay, they all have these things where people, they're taking in too many returns. They have no, they don't know what to do with them. A lot of times they end up in landfills. Sometimes they're burnt. Sometimes they go offshore, especially when it comes to apparel. Africa is the primary destination for apparel. But a lot of times you can purchase those pallets of return items and resell them. And that's where you get people reselling on eBay.
Yeah, I actually do know about that industry, and there's big money. I did a business plan for somebody for that industry. There's big money in that industry. So
right, you can take a trailer load, which is typically 24 to 26 pallets, and you can have a return on that, maybe a 3,000. Well, it depends what type of product it is and where you're getting it from. You can probably make, in the course of that truckload, somewhere between $2,000 to $3,000 or more.
And you called it a trailer load, is what you referred to that
trailer
as?
load, yes, 53-foot trailer, semi, you know, and you can typically do that over the course of 3 days. You can earn $2,000 to $3,000.
Yeah, I do know there is, so talk about interesting industries. There is a store in, I think, South Carolina that buys people's unclaimed luggage.
Yeah, I've heard.
I mean, you want to talk about a multi-million-dollar industry. So people lose their luggage. It's never claimed. The airlines, after a certain period of time, don't know what to do with it. This company comes in and buys unclaimed luggage. They get all sorts of stuff in there, and they have this huge thrift store. These people are making millions of dollars a year with these types of little niche industries. So
Right.
y'all come into the 10K project. I think we're going to have a lot of interesting and unique projects that end up being pitched to the community. So
Just to know, we'll let you know, I think it's Huntsville, Alabama.
you're saying Scottsboro. Yeah.
No.
Greensboro.
No. Where all the major companies, they have a like a depot, and I think it's in Huntsville, Alabama, where all the airlines send their unclaimed items. And that's where all of them go at that one site in Alabama.
Yep.
So, and it is big business. It's huge business because people lose a lot at the airport.
Yeah, and also the returns from Christmas and then selling them to developing nations. Huge business. So anyway, that's it. It's almost 10 minutes after 7. We're going to give people a chance to have dinner. If you're a member of the 10K project and you want to come back for 8 o'clock, tonight's conversation is all about how to set up your family bank from a legal and an accounting point of view. So we have 2 panelists coming tonight to talk with us about that. So we'll see everybody in about 50 minutes. Okay.
Thank you, Lester.
Thank you, Lester.
Goodbye.
Take care.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Lester.